Okay, now we're going to use the leaps library along with caret, and here this allows us lots of possibilities in terms of how to sample the data. Instead of just simply using train and validate as two sets, we can do cross validation, bootstrapping, and lots of other opportunities are available. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the car select. We're going to take the original data, okay, say car select uh, data frame. So it has all the observations of the selected columns. So we will use that data set, okay, and we'll run the models. Okay, so we're going to set seed first. So because the sampling procedure will be random, and for us to have results that are reproducible, we have to start with a set seed. So set seed, and then we will set up control parameters, which are in train control. Okay, and here we specify how to develop samples. Okay, instead of just having validate and train, so we're going to say method equal to, okay, we are going to use the cross validation. So cross validation is like you take the data set and divide it into uh, n number of partitions, and then you leave one aside as validate and use everything else as train, right? And then you repeat the process. Second time you take the second set that aside, and use everything else as train, and so on. So here we can specify how many, okay, um, you take the data set and you divide it into how many sets. Okay, so 10 is your default. So if you're using 10, then you really don't need to specify that. But if you want to use a different number, then you have to specify. So that's why I'm showing you how to do that. Okay, and then we'll train. We'll call this car.cv for cross validation, and then we do the train. Okay, train. You have to specify the formula, which is um, price against everything else, right? And then you specify where the data is, and we're going to use car selected df. So that's what we're going to use. And then you have to specify what model you want and what is the training control. So what model you want, and that is method equal to. So let's use linear model, and then tr control equal to ctrl. So that's where we have set up our train control parameters. Okay, so now we run these 3 lines of code. Okay, make sure that everything works. So we have car.cv. Okay, let's do a summary of car.cv. Okay, so we have the results here. Okay, all right, so now let's set up our measures, accuracy measures, so which is from here. I'm going to copy that, and okay, so instead of step, let's call this CV for cross validation, right? All right, so now we have car.cv. Okay, now we have to, no, it's not in the original list itself, so it is inside a list in a list. So that's where. So you have to do final model and then select um, fitted values. Okay, and then for prediction, then we have um, car.cv is the um, is the place where the regression results are saved and new data is that. Okay, let's now run these two lines of code, make sure that it runs okay. Okay, so make sure uh, car.cv, so we have data there, so this store okay. And here we change that to cv, change that to cv, all right, and then to change that to 3, and this time we will not forget to change the names of 3, and we call this train.cv and valid.cv. Okay, and then we'll print that and see whether it's okay. So we already ran these two lines. So these are the lines that we need. Okay, so we have train.cv measures and valid.cv measures. Okay.